You are about to opt in to Monerotopia, a show for the Monero community where all are welcome to join. From noob to maxi, no matter what bags you hold. Just sit back and relax to the sweet sounds of Monero's latest progress. Or if you're feeling inspired, join us on stage. Remember, the only thing that can stop Monero is a false belief that it can be stopped. And if you want to win the revolution faster, we recommend you remove your XMR from all custodial exchanges immediately. Warning, voting accidents are common around here. Don't forget to properly secure your private keys. Monerotopia starts now. Aloha.
All right,
very
back
close
in
camera here.
the studio. Feels good.
Cheerios. Good morning.
Cheers.
The delicious gratuitous coffee. I think this is the Columbia one.
Is it?
Yeah, the Columbia one.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoy it. Pretty tasty.
Oh,
So how's it going?
yeah, we had that cafe that reached out to us that wants to use our coffee, right?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
located in like Pennsylvania area. Is
I
that
think
is that
so.
happening?
I don't know. You've been in conversation.
Neil's working that out.
Neil's working that.
That would be cool though.
I'm working on the conference, Doug.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we got a lot going on.
We got a lot going on. I guess we'll just quickly do a spiel on the conference if you want to talk about it quickly, just so we can.
Yeah, a little
Just talk
spiel.
about
We
it,
don't
yeah.
have to,
We don't have to go
everybody
crazy.
knows at this point.
Get your tickets today to join us in person if you can. If not, we also have the virtual conference ticket option for those that can't fly to Mexico City. We completely understand. So buy a virtual ticket soon if you want to be a part of the party virtually.
What's a discount code? Do we have a discount code we can mention?
I don't know. We have a few out there.
Liberty is a good one.
Liberty is a good one. For
Tony.
Oh,
Right? But I
Tony
don't think
is 21. No, he did. I did
Is
it.
it 21?
Yeah.
All
He
right.
he tweeted it last week again. He's good.
Tony. So that's
We love it.
21%,
21% off.
21% off.
Your virtual ticket or in-person ticket if you're interested in joining us in person, which we recommend because it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, virtual ticket. Obviously, not everybody can make it down there. We set it at the same price as the general because we rather people come down in person, but we're offering this. Actually, a lot of people joined virtually last year.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
didn't realize
they did.
because we had Crypto Vigilante running it, so we're doing it again this year. And it's cool because you can participate in the Q&A. Our audio visual will, knock on wood, be a lot better this year. We're putting a lot more effort into it.
And hands-on. We have
And,
people dedicated to
we
it.
have.
Well, Tony did a great job last year. Kudos to him.
We're hiring somebody to essentially run it. I'm very appreciative of those who helped us out last year, but we ran it. It was basically internet, I think, more than anything else.
It was the
fucked it
internet,
up.
yeah.
But so this year we're gonna have 2 stages. Both are gonna have cameras. They're going to be streamed live, and then the audience at home should be able to participate in Q&A a little bit, so we'll be able to take questions from those that are home, and then anybody who buys a virtual ticket will have access to all the videos thereafter. Want to say too, though, eventually all this content will be put out there for free, right? So any content we produce, we always put it out there for free. The whole point of all this
in due time
is to get the word
be
out
patient with
about Monero, right? This is why we're out here doing this, but selling the virtual ticket does help us essentially finance this conference. It's just another revenue stream, and people like it. It worked out well last year.
It did.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, we have a ton of speakers.
Yeah, we have a ton of speakers. We're not going to go through them. We have
we have more that are like reaching out, but we're kind of telling them we probably can't. I mean, reach out to us, especially if you can come down. Although Actually, I think we have a better time fitting in virtual speakers at this point because we have 2 stages. We have the live speakers. Yeah, that's jam-packed. There's really no leeway.
Yeah, there's no leeway.
And then we have the remote
speakers. Yeah.
Paul Pui from Edge
he's
Wallet
a new one.
wanted to be a part of the conference, so we're going to probably put him on a panel just because I don't think we could give him his own talk. Do we have anybody else new that we've added?
Well, our guest for today,
Peter Todd. Although we still have to pay, send him his payment in Lightning.
And then our guest today.
Does anybody want to do that on our behalf? By the way, anybody want to?
God.
Send a Lightning payment to Peter Todd, and we'll pay you back to Monero. please
reach out.
Please
email
reach out to us.
We'll pay you back.
Monerotopia@protonmail.com if
I
you
just
want to
have
help
no
us.
time to figure out
You
how
pay
to do
Peter
it.
Todd, we pay you in Monero. He's willing to accept half the payment in Monero. But the other
But
half, he wants
us to pay
to
first,
because he
we
wants
just
us
have
to
no
learn
time.
about Lightning and use
Not that
it.
we're ignoring it. We haven't had time to sit down and figure it out.
Shit. Monero works. It does the job. We don't need to be learning other crap.
Wow, burn. Calm down.
And what were we saying? Special guest.
Our
JW.
special guest today. Yeah, he that was a speaker added. So we're excited to have that on.
Oh yeah, we added him as a speaker. JW Interim, the Wownero guy,
Wownero
and much
guy.
more. He's much more than the Wownero guy.
And Sarang is a new one that we just added. Also, that will be remote though.
Yeah, there he is, John. He's so serious in his pick. John, so serious.
So serious.
Very Wownero-ish, right?
Oh goodness gracious!
I like it.
And then we have Sarang also. That was a new addition.
Oh, we've added Sarang. Awesome. Yeah. For
so.
those who don't know, Sarang, used to be a part of the Monero research lab. I mean, he still is. He still contributes to Monero, but now he works for what's the company? The
I don't have
CipherStack. Is it CipherStack?
Maybe, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, Diego's company, CipherStack.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he does research and development via CipherStack, which then basically helps out coins like Firo and ultimately helps out cryptos like Monero. But he's the real deal. He's done a ton of amazing things for the Monero project. I don't know what he's going to be talking about. Did he say what his talk is going to be on?
I'm reaching out to everyone and asking them to give us their title, and we'll figure that out, and their presentations, so we can try to
very, very honored to have Sarang.
Yes,
and he participated last year as well. Just the real deal, guys.
The real deal. But yeah, I guess other than that,
check it out, guys. We have tons of stuff, and then the marketplace is coming along. We're going to teach all the people, all the vendors that are participating in the marketplace about Monero. We're going to try to incorporate it into a Monerotopia episode next one.
No,
next
the 29th. I think,
on the 29th. So we're going to do like a tutorial online for all the vendors and onboard them to Monero before the conference. So we're going to teach them about it. We're going to try to do it through Monerotopia, have them come on. I mean, there's a bunch of them, right? Did you post links to the vendors?
Not yet. I haven't had time to put them up, but I did put up the bazaar that's going to be participating.
What is that link to?
It's to their
Instagram.
I think their Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys can check that out.
Yeah, there's a list. It's a long list actually. So
come with fun. I haven't really looked at the list. Like, what are the type of vendors?
I haven't had a chance either, but she sent me a list. I haven't had a chance to add them.
Does she have some on here?
I probably, but this is just kind of the bazaar that's going to be.
They're kind of like cool, like high end,
eco-social. It's very cool.
Quality stuff. She seems to like curate it very well, right?
Yes.
She takes pride in this marketplace that she puts together. And so it should be very cool. And she's very much on board with getting them to help us get them to accept Monero. So we should all be good to go, guys. So bring Monero, man.
Monero.
That's obviously what we said, right? This is a big part of what we want this conference to be about. Actually using Monero, building out the parallel economy. So what better way to do it than to actually do it at the conference?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Moving on.
I guess let's move on to our price report right here. Let's put on our little segment. This mouse is very painful trying to click on it. Okay, here we go. The Monerotopia Price Report segment is sponsored by Local Monero. Avoid using KYC exchanges. Buy and sell Monero directly for fiat, peer-to-peer. Aloha! I see Bawdy is present. Hello? Can you hear us?
Bawdy is present. He made a pre-recording for us because I think he's on the move today. Bawdy, what's going on, man?
Hey, sorry, my mic was muted.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, I'm in Texas. Then going to California on Monday.
Very nice.
So
very nice.
Vacation.
Very nice.
I
So enjoy your vacation. You did it for recording for us.
Yeah.
I feel
Well,
bad.
okay, so right before I left, I recorded some videos, and I sent you the link, but I guess they won't let you download it. So I downloaded it, and it was like just over the limit. So I brought my iPad as a backup, but apparently StreamYard doesn't really have a screen sharing with the iPad, so
yeah, I
we'll
think
probably be.
yeah. But don't worry, I'll just share the video.
You can play
as
the
a
video?
Yeah, they're
All
just going to
right.
be in 2 parts.
Yeah,
So
we'll play the video if you could stick around, and then you could.
Oh, okay.
Like talk after. I don't know if you can talk during. Maybe you can. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought for some reason that the videos weren't going to work for you.
No, I can share them, but it's going to be, for example, I think this is the first one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Like I can share the screen like this. So let's see how this plays out. All right.
Okay.
So we're going to mute you for a second.
Sure.
Her muting Bawdy to listen to Bawdy.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Bawdy coming at you on Friday, April the 14th. This is a pre-recorded price report. So the big news, perhaps, other than the markets pumping, which was very nice, but the big news was the inflation numbers. So you can see that for the first time, the CPI got back down to 5%. And that seems to be a significant number. It's a nice round number, halfway to 10. But you can see here in the aughts, it was also important. And then last time before that was kind of right around 1990. So that was good to see this come down. Unfortunately, we didn't see the core inflation rate come down as well. That actually ticked up by 0.1%. That is, it's the CPI, which is basically everything minus food and energy. So, or maybe it's also rents. I think the biggest component here of the core inflation that's causing it to be high is still rents, or that's one of the components. And it does look like rents are going to be coming down. It looks like property values perhaps could continue some downward trajectory. Although if this market pump continues, maybe that's attenuated some. But at any rate, it does look like we should be seeing rents come down. So hopefully everyone can celebrate and negotiate for a lower rent for their landlord or with their landlord. And then the producer price index is in blue, and that's already back down to 2.7%. So this is good. This is probably a factor in what helped the markets to continue being positive this week when these numbers came out. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Federal Reserve balance sheet. We'll cover the macro stuff and then get to Monero. So here's the the pump, the re-expansion of the balance sheet that happened to sort of backstop the banks. And these were all 90-day loans or less. So the most recent downtick was less than the other 2 downticks over here. Now, it could be that basically people were taking very short-term loans on the order of 1 to 3 weeks or taking the full 90-day loans. So it's possible that this might continue to sort of come down very slowly, and then maybe in about 2.5 months, when those 90-day loans start to expire, perhaps we could see this drop even lower. But nonetheless, I don't expect to see this thing just continue skyrocketing to the top. And that kind of leads into another kind of a thesis that I've had that we'll get to in just a second. So let's go ahead and take a look at the yield curve. The red line down here is the overall inversion, and then the white line is the overnight federal funds rate. And then you've got the 3 and 6 month yields. They're yielding above the federal funds rate, and then everything else is yielding below. Now, there's an interesting thing that's happening this time, and this time it's different. And those are dangerous words, but there's a dynamic here with the federal funds reverse repos. And I think what's happening here is that, so we haven't really ever seen the reverse repos be this high, like ever in its history. And you can see that going back all the way to 2004. So what happens is these reverse repos are money parked with the Fed overnight. They basically get the federal funds rate. I think it's just like a tick below, maybe like 0.1%. And so you can imagine that, okay, if you're an institution, you can hold bonds, you can hold treasuries that are yielding down here. The long-term ones are yielding 3.5%. Or I can hold a reverse repo with the Fed, park some money overnight, get the same interest rate basically as the federal funds rate, the overnight rate, and then have that cash be completely liquid, right? I think that this is a mechanism that the Fed is using to try and prevent a smashing down of this yield curve. So, or really just in general, a crash in yields overall. So you can notice that basically every other time that we've had big market crashes have been preceded immediately by yields just totally cratering. And you can look back and see that over many cases, whether that's the 2008 saga or 2001. So I think what's happening here is the Federal Reserve is they've opened this federal reverse repo lending facility, and they've got the rates so high that it's encouraging players to put their money with the Fed overnight for a higher interest rate rather than buying these bonds down here. That's significant because when there's a lack of demand for a bond, the interest rate necessarily has to go up. And so I think what could be happening is they're trying to prevent these longer term yielding bonds, so that the 30-year, the 20-year, the 10-year, they're trying to prevent this from basically just cratering to the downside, because that's basically always signals, or almost always signals, some kind of market crash. And so by keeping people wanting to be up here in these bonds, these things maybe don't crash as much. It's just a thesis. Maybe that's correct, maybe it's not. But it also kind of interrelates with another thesis that I've had about the Federal Reserve, inflation, and intervention, and central banks in general. So overall, the idea is that they want to make the minimum interventions necessary to prevent a full-on collapse. The reason is because with inflation being so high, they can't actually rescue the markets like they could in 2008, 2001, or any of the other times that they've done it. So basically, and sort of the evidence for this is going back to September, October. If you remember, I was saying that the only thing that could save the markets was intervention by central banks. And that's exactly what we got. But what did we really get? Was it really that much? I say no. I say it was the only real intervention that happened was the UK opened a window where they were buying bunds. They call them bunds over there. Here we call them bonds, where they opened a window to buy bunds off of the institutions. And I think it was the same problem that the US banks had recently, where they had long-term low yielding debt as rates were going up. And so, but that was a minimal intervention, and so was the recent intervention. Yes, they expanded the balance sheet. Yes, they pulled some emergency measures, but they didn't really just go on complete policy shift, QE, lower the interest rates, right? They didn't do the stuff that they've classically done, which are very sort of extreme measures. So to me, it looks like they know that they can't rescue the markets. So rather than letting it get to a point where things could get crazy and difficult, they're just going to rescue the markets little by little, tiny bit by tiny bit. So that would also kind of be a point in the favor that we might have more upside overall, and like kind of slow, progressive upside, which is what we've seen so far for the past few months. So right now, I'm starting to play with the idea that this pump could last longer than than I originally anticipated. But that would be a good thing, right? We get some more gains. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and take a look at let's finish off with these with the reverse repos. We are seeing these tick up. We're basically at a cluster of moving average, standard deviation lines, which are sitting about right here. Normally, this would kind of tend to limit price to this area, the chart to this area for a while. But this isn't exactly a price chart. It's more, it's the amount of money parked overnight with the Federal Reserve. So if this continues to go up, that might not be the best sign for risk assets. So we'll just have to monitor it. We'll see how that goes in real time. The US dollar, let's take a look at the long term on this. So essentially, we've got this rising support line. It was broken down for a while for the post 2020, March 2020 event. But otherwise, you can see that this has been a pretty important line for a while. So it does make a lot of sense. I have been expecting to finally touch this line at some point. I think this would make a lot of sense right here. That would sort of go along with the rest of the market, how everything looks. That doesn't mean that we couldn't potentially have temporary bounces along the way. You can see that, this kind of important, shorter term, but still important line, we're basically like following that down. And then the dotted line, you can see, goes back to all the way back to the 2020. And it's just kind of like a natural place to draw that line. But there's, hypothetically, you could put this thing in other places, right? You could put it here, you could put it there. But anyways, just kind of like a point of reference, and it does look like the market thinks that was an important spot. So I do think that this area down here is a spot to take a look at, to be cognizant of. And on those timeframes, it would sort of suggest we have until May, perhaps mid-May or even June, for some continued gains in risk assets. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at Monero. Okay, so Monero finally broke this this downsloping, final boss bear market resistance line. It hasn't really broken it in the most impressive way. We have these wicks up here, and those wicks aren't great. They're not huge wicks, but we don't really like to see that. I would have much rather seen this go up a little bit higher. But at the same time, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. If today we close above, and I do believe it's likely we should, it's Friday. That's 4 days above closed, and we're here. We had basically 1, 2 days, and then it just crashed back down. It's not nearly as bullish as we would like. I mean, it is bullish, but it doesn't look like the rest of the market bullishness. But it is what it is, and overall, I mean, at least we finally broken this line, and hopefully we can hold it. You can kind of see that there's this. Maybe we could draw a trend line like right there. It's possible that we could come down, test this area here, and then bounce off. Monero does seem to have counter-cyclical movements. I do think that's intentional. Let's go ahead and take a look at Monero Bitcoin. So we've talked about this before, where it definitely seems plausible, likely based on past activity, even going all the way back to like 2016, 2015, that the ratio XMR BTC, when the rest of the market is getting bullish, it does seem that we end up in this zone down here. And it's a distortion. This is a zone, to me, of maximum distortion, where they're pumping everything else beyond really what it should be. They're trying to suppress Monero as much as they can. And if we expect that the markets are going to continue to be bullish, and I pretty much do, we probably do need, the ratio is going to be playing down here. I mean, that's really just what this chart says. So prepare yourselves, as we say, mentally. Maybe if you've got some shit coins, maybe if you're participating in the degeneracy elsewhere, you can roll those gains into Monero. One of the good things we have going for us now is that it looks like an established pattern in people's minds that Monero does well in bear markets, that it gains so much versus Bitcoin during the bear market. So we might have that working for us at the top and the reversal of whenever this, this movement and risk on ends. We could look at Monero versus Ethereum. I'll show you guys these charts one day, all that colorful stuff, but I'm still kind of preparing. Oops. I'm still kind of preparing some things. They're cool charts. They're really cool charts, and they show you a lot of stuff that's very important. And I wish I could show them to you now, but I'll let you know when I can. Okay, so anyways, I posted a tweet just maybe it was on Wednesday or Thursday, where I said that I think it was Wednesday, where I said that it looks like this chart might be about to reverse, and that was kind of based on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. I tweeted that specifically. I tweeted that it looked like it's kind of like last chance. I said, hey, last chance Ethereum, ETH BTC. If you don't stop and rebound here, you basically got air all the way down into about the 0.05 area. But really, like within hours of me posting that, that's exactly what happened. This thing stopped and reversed on a dime and really took off. So the a bunch of stakes got unlocked on I think it was Sunday evening, and they can't all dump at the same time. The most that could be dumped, I was reading an article, something like 1.5 billion maybe is the max that could be dumped. But the reality is that it's probably going to be far less than that. And a lot of people are just going to restake. Some people are going to sell, sure. But it does seem like this was a buy the rumor, sell the news, or technically in this case, sell the rumor, buy the news. So with this, when that thing stopped and reversed, there's another important factor happening here, and that's the Z-scores. You could very easily say that that is bullish divergence, right? So the ETH BTC chart made technically a slightly lower low with that wick down there, but the Z-scores definitely rebounded when ETH BTC rebounded. So I say all that to indicate that this chart is, well, let's face it, it's not a great chart right here. There was the opportunity that if ETH was going to break down further, that this chart, XMR versus ETH could have gone to the top side, but right now, with some of the standard deviations I look at, we're looking at probably a 0.06 area. And of course, you've got this local low down here. So perhaps even 0.05 could happen. So again, I mean, that's just in line with the nature of what happens when they find the opportunity to leverage up the markets. So I think that's about all for Monero. We're still slightly in positive, overall positive shorts versus longs. And the divergences, they just don't seem to be giving nearly as much signal as they used to. Qcoin, I'm not sure how much I trust any of these numbers anymore, honestly. But we have overall for Binance and for OKX, we have been sort of below the line for most of this week. But yeah, I'm not sure how reliable that chart is anymore. But it is interesting to look at. So let's finish off by taking a look at the crypto markets. And Bitcoin right now is kind of like, it's the big headline one, because people are still worried about the banking system and they're not sure about what's going to happen. So, I mean, right, people are going to go to the big ones that make sense. That's going to be Ethereum and Bitcoin. So we're basically playing in this yellow box here. And that yellow box is a very obvious spot, a very obvious place to draw. We'll go to the weekly, so it's even more obvious. It's basically just the spot that you would see from the lower bound of the summer crash in 2021, and then sort of the upper bound over here for both sort of the close on the weekly and then also for June 2022. Right, so it's really just a range that I expect us to be playing in for a while. Yes, price is above this sort of line right here, and that's like the highest line that maybe we could draw. But I don't expect this thing to just bust out to 33,000 or something like that. If it does wick up there, I think that's probably a good opportunity to take profit, maybe even worth scalping a short. I don't think that this is over. Like I said, I'm starting to entertain the possibility that that this thing keeps going farther than we had originally anticipated. So there's another thing here. This is the BLX chart, which is the lifetime Bitcoin price, and I wanted to do this because these descriptive statistics they make more sense when we're looking at the full price history. So one thing we can do is just kind of like expand this chart, and you can see that basically the moving average, which is the white line, and then the upper standard deviation, which is the blue lines here, that range there is kind of like the bear market range. And then the purple line is kind of like a bull market, things are positive range. So we're basically like right on that verge, and this is psychological in nature. The reason that the standard deviations and moving averages are important is because humans are intuitively, and even animals in general, are like you can sense statistics in a way, like in a very intuitive way. You might not be able to give the number, but they've just done these experiments where people, even when the odds are slightly for them or slightly against them, their bodies will show these like physiological cues that they know the deck is stacked against them, and it can happen very quickly. So anyways, they're important because they're psychological in nature, and in aggregate, the players in the market are going to be going off of sort of like these statistical estimations that everyone's making. So anyways, we're basically sitting below the this purple line, which is like a derivative of the standard deviation. And these purple lines are very important to me. It's kind of a concept that I invented. Maybe someone else invented it probably already, and I just thought of it later. But anyways, this is kind of an important resistance point, is what I'm trying to get at here. So we'll have to see how that how this plays out. But I don't expect the Bitcoin or crypto total charts to be too extravagant. Although shitcoins seem like they want to make a run here. People are starting to get confident, right? We're starting to beat these summer levels. This is total. So and then here on the Z-scores, we've kind of got a positive trend on these Z-scores. So overall, I mean, I could definitely see a pullback happening. That's definitely something that we could see. But overall, I do think that it's still game on. You might take some profits, but I mean, overall, the name of the game so far has just been to stay in the market. And right now, I don't really see anything that would contradict that. So yeah, overall, I think that's mostly it. We've got the Bitcoin dominance chart. We've broken above these statistical levels again, like these kind of a lifetime. This is a lower standard deviation, this orange line here. So the thing is, we hit this dotted line right here, which is kind of a natural, kind of one of the final resistance points for BTC dominance. I'm not too convinced necessarily that this will have to go up immediately, because it does look like people are rotating into shitcoins. Maybe that's not a bad thing to do, to take some trades there. I do think that 50 to 52% is probably in the cards. So, we talked about BTC. So yeah, that's about it. I say, let's take one quick look at gold, and then we'll be done. So yeah, gold has this this vacillating price action, and it looks like it's going to keep going up. It looks like it's starting to form this rising wedge. But again, I think that gold is a great long-term play, and personally, I would just keep hodling there. So thanks everyone, and hope you have a good weekend.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you, Bawdy.
I think we have the
pre-recorded and also live.
The best price report in the game coming from Bawdy. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, guys.
Of course. No, thank you.
Anything you want to add, given since you recorded yesterday? Has there been any new news?
No, I don't think so. I saw Monero ticked up. I was worried we might have to go test that line and be nervous, that we could break down again. But it looks like it ticked up this morning, so that's nice.
Yeah. What do you think of the upcoming Monero birthday Monerorun? You think we might see any effect on Monero from that?
I'm not as optimistic as I was last year on that being like a big price pump event. It doesn't seem like there's nearly as much interest. By this time last year, we had already seen significant movement of Monero compared to the rest of the market. It was also kind of the middle of the bear market, so it could have a lot to do with that. And then also, it does look like Binance accumulated a whole big stack of Monero last month. So I think they're probably ready for us this time. Maybe it was just too much bad press, so they just figured they'd prepare for it. Because their withdrawals have been open like for the past few months. They've kept their withdrawals open. So I mean, I don't want to be like a negative Nancy on that. Like I'm still gonna participate by a little bit on the 18th, and everyone should still do it because we still should audit their reserves. Because for all we know, maybe they didn't prepare, right? Maybe that was just all fake. Maybe they're kind of like cooking their books, and we do the Monerorun, and maybe they shut down their withdrawals. So. But I'm just saying, don't get your hopes too high that we're going to have the kind of crazy breakout like we did last time.
Yeah. It's just a good opportunity to pull your Monero off exchanges anyway, if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Do it. Awesome.
I tried to make a Reddit post on cryptocurrency, and it didn't get the 2,000 upvotes like the other one did last year.
Oh, that was you? Okay, yeah, I saw that. Somebody, I didn't realize that was your post. It didn't get a ton of love. But you kind of pitched it as, let's make this just a general pull your coins off exchanges day, right? Not so much just Monero only, right?
I mean, I kind of tipped my hat to the other coins and to the general circumstances of the market, but it was Monero focused. It was the Monerorun or the Money Run anniversary. So I mean, I said, in general, people should be pulling your coins off, and it should be abundantly clear now why that's the case. But it's kind of a special date for us for Monero because last year we proved that the exchanges were totally fractionally reserved and just didn't have the Monero they said they did. That was a big turning point, I think, for a lot of us when it was like, because people used to be like, oh, you're a conspiracy, tinfoil hat, whatever. And then we proved it on April 18th last year that no, they couldn't meet our demand. And we're just a small niche group in crypto. Although it seems like we're becoming less niche every, by the month, by the year.
Yeah, for sure. But it didn't get a lot of love on Reddit in the crypto.
No, the one I posted a couple of days ago got maybe like 30 or 40 upvotes, but the one I posted last year got like 2,000 upvotes.
Oh shit! Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. Awesome.
I don't know. I talked to JW. You got him on your show here today.
Yeah. We'll move it along. Thank you so much, man. Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you. Yes, enjoy. Thank you for doing the.
If we do a special show on Monero's birthday on the Monerorun, maybe you can jump in if you're available. That's coming up right on Tuesday, right?
Tuesday.
Yeah. Shit. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, if I'm around, I'll definitely try and jump on.
All right. Well, enjoy your vacation. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Later, man.
Bye.
All righty, let's move on to the dev segment.
Let's do it.
And now for the Monero development segment.
I'm nasally, but I like it. It's different. Look at him. And then he's saying, I'm picky. Look at that. Hi.
What's up, man?
How's it going?
How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing much better.
Good.
Yeah, you were sick last week.
Yeah.
Oh, no. So bad. How are you feeling right now?
I feel better. I'm still taking it easy. I don't know what it was. It was just maybe I've been trying to exercise more, and then I think I just caught something at work, and then I didn't rest, and it just got caught up with me.
Aw.
You gotta rest, man.
You gotta rest.
It's you guys say that y'all doing like 30 different things.
I know.
I gotta rest. Y'all.
We
Thank
crashed
you.
Too.
Help.
Hopefully we don't crash before the conference, but
I probably will.
The
He just keeps going. I'm like dying. He's like, catch up. I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah, let's not get into
We
that.
recharged in Puerto Rico last week.
Yeah. No, it did.
Well, it's not. That wasn't a relaxing.
No, because he wants to do a show every time.
Well, no, it's not relaxing because we're with your family.
Yeah, but it was
like,
nice. Yeah, it wasn't relaxing, but it was
you
fun.
don't, you
It
don't
was
really go to
relaxing.
Puerto Rico to relax.
No, I don't.
You go to Puerto Rico
To
and have an
enjoy
amazing
time with
time. You have an
family.
amazing time, but it's not. You don't come back.
You know, Puerto
rested.
Ricans. But
But yeah, man. Hey, keep resting up. Thanks for doing this anyway. Appreciate it.
No, of course. Thing is, it's a pleasure.
So what do we got? What do we got this week?
So we have, I think Rucknium has been covering the impact of Mordinals, I think, for the past pretty much, I think, since they went live. I think he's been covering them because in the past videos, as you mentioned, Monero NFTs are only harmful at like certain levels. So Rucknium has recently put out a great Reddit post about all their research they've been doing. I believe at least over the past month. I think it goes back a little bit further than that also. So we're just going to cover the impact of that and pretty much overview Rucknium's report.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw his Reddit post. It was really cool. I mean,
yeah,
the data he used to explain things was really interesting, and then he just kind of, for me, kind of explained things in a way where it hasn't really been explained yet to me in that fashion, where I kind of understand the impact a little bit better in terms of how mordinals are affecting the decoy selection, essentially.
Yeah, I would say they're a great like educator, also like great developer, great statistician. It's amazing. All the beautiful graphs, it's just like A plus work.
He is awesome, man. He is awesome. I think he was originally from like the Bcash community, and then he found an interest in Monero a few years ago. Or I don't want to misquote or misstate, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of like what the history of Rucknium was. And he's been pretty involved for a couple of years now, and he has yet to publicly come out, but he will be. Which, you know, not encouraging him to do so. I like that he's lurking and hiding. But he will be presenting at Monerotopia remotely. He's going to voice disguise and do or I think
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
He's not talking to him.
He's not revealing himself. He's going to do, I think, text to speech and then he'll be doing Q&A as well with text to speech. So very cool. And he's
gonna be a fast typer.
I know.
He's got to be like.
I don't know how he's gonna do it, but
That's pretty cool.
He's a pretty impressive dude, so I'm sure he'll pull it up.
Would you do an interview, Doug, with someone who was doing like a Monero talk interview with someone who was doing like voice to text or like something like that?
Of course, sure. Yeah.
Oh, I was just curious. I don't remember in your backlog. We have so many. I don't.
Have we? No.
Well, no, we had somebody on that was completely blind. Remember? And I mean, this is kind of a different, right? And he was right. Remember,
I forget what that was. Yeah, no, you're right. No, I think it was. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
He was cool. I mean, we've obviously had people come on anonymously and disguising their voice and whatnot. I don't think we've had somebody doing a text to speech.
Just that
maybe
person, but I think
whatever. But yeah, totally open to it. Obviously,
that was a Monerotopia episode. He was on live. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Take it away.
I want to get into the Mordinals. We can talk about this show, the Monero Talk show later. I have a little bit at the end of the slide about Monero Talk. Big fan. But so yeah, I have the slide here. How bad are Mordinals? Unfortunately, for the people at home that are listening and not watching, there's gonna be a bunch of slides courtesy of Rucknium, but you won't be able to see them. So I'll try my best to explain them. But if you can, it'd be probably much better for you if you were able to watch this. But basically, the presentation today is going to be how bad are Mordinals, and for anyone who unless you've been underneath a rock for the past 2 months, you know what Mordinals are. For anyone that late to the game, a Mordinal is a Monero NFT essentially. So we're gonna see how bad they are for Monero's privacy right now. And all of this stuff I'm talking about right now I literally copy and pasted it. So I gotta cite my sources from Rucknium. Like we said, they're gonna be the Monerotopia, and they do great work. I have a couple Twitter threads about them. They're amazing. So all my information comes from them. You can go to Monero right now, Monero Reddit. I believe the post is still in the top 5 posts right now. So if you search his title, it'll show up. It's an amazing post. But let's get into it. So basically, this whole paper or presentation talks about black marble. You might ask yourself, what is a black marble? Well, first, to understand what a black marble is, you have to understand how Monero provides privacy. And one of the ways Monero provides privacy is when you send a transaction, it actually hides the outputs of that transaction by including different other inputs of the transaction. So it mixes your coins with others' coins. On this graph here, I think there's only like a couple, but right now it mixes it with other 15. So when you send a transaction, it goes to the blockchain and randomly picks, or not randomly, there's a specific method that it picks other inputs to tie into your transaction. But as you can see, if let's say, for example, if you were to pick 16 inputs or 15 inputs that were bad, right, you would basically get no protection. So there's this relationship with outputs or inputs, things like that. So what is a black marble? You can see here a black marble, and this one is a transaction input that is bad in the transaction. And for example, there are many different things that could be a black marble, but for right now, all you need to understand is that a black marble is a bad input chosen, essentially. Any questions so far? Am I going too fast?
No. Good stuff.
And then, so like you said, right now, the ring size of you take 16 inputs into the ring size, but you actually have an effective ring size. So for example, let's say you were to get 3 mordinals in your inputs, you would have an effective ring size of 13 instead of the original 16. And a smaller effective ring size is bad, obviously, right? Because I mean, you can imagine a worst case scenario where you get really extremely unlucky and you pick 15 mordinals. You basically have no input privacy because the mordinals are all public, so they're known inputs, so they're not giving you any anonymity sets, essentially. But the thing is about this is that this isn't an issue that affects just Monero NFTs. Coinbase outputs could be an example of black marbles. They're very unlikely to be the real spins, so it hurts your privacy a lot. And ring selection is random, so you can't really control this, right? Let's say you were to go to your Monero GUI, send a transaction. Most users don't have the skill to really pick their outputs, so you can just get really unlucky. How unlucky, you might ask? We have some great slides from Rucknium. And this is a slide that talks about how many black balls exist over time. And a black ball, again, is just a bad input. So you can see a yellow line here. So actually, before Mordinals existed, which is the black line down here, you can see the yellow line is just Coinbase outputs. So in the past, before Mordinals were a big issue, the biggest threat to your privacy in this specific way was actually Coinbase outputs because they were very unlikely to be spent. And then the way Monero decentralized mining works, there are a ton of them. Well, not a ton, but there are more than something like on Bitcoin. And they're much more frequent also. So you can see this graph here. And in the first line is when Mordinals come into existence.
We should say too that that orange line, right, where the Coinbase black balls plummeted on March 15th because there was a new implementation with PT pool, right?
Yep.
I guess I don't really understand exactly what was implemented that reduced the effect of the black balls coming from Coinbase. Maybe you understand, but apparently something that reduced the effect.
Yeah, I believe they just condensed them and issued Coinbase outputs less often. I'm not sure though. Right, so like you might, for example, you might have a Coinbase output much more frequently, and they just reduce that, and that hopefully reduced the amount of Coinbase outputs in general. So you got bigger payouts less often, essentially.
Right,
I think is what they did.
It was kind of interesting that happened, so they kind of solved the Coinbase blackball thing right before Mordinals, and then 2 days later Mordinals.
That's how life goes, though. Sometimes you solve one thing, there's always something popping up.
Yeah.
Like
you're doing a great job, but yeah, I think the moral of the story here for me overall, when I read Rucknium's posts, is you see how privacy is a constant battle. We always say it.
Yeah.
And now you could actually see that statistically, right? Like that.
Oh yes.
Here we are losing the battle for a little bit, and then boom, kind of a breakthrough. A new implementation, and we've gotten rid of these black balls. All right, then there's Mordinals, and boom, you can see a drop off there as well, right? So,
yep.
I think that's kind of the biggest takeaway for kind of noobs who are wondering what this all means is we're going to constantly face these issues, and the most compelling part of all this is that the Monero development community is constantly actively trying to thwart them and effectively doing so. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, so like Doug said this slide beautifully. Over time, you see the different things battling for, I guess, being the worst blackball. You had Coinbase, then you had Monerotopia come and take over. Then Monerotopia went down because no one really used them as much. Then you had, so I left Coinbase down here. But as Doug said, right, we've gotten much better. If you go back to the left side, that's where we were there. But now we're down here around the 10%. So much better. But once again, in order to understand how your privacy is hurt, you have to understand that you take inputs into your transaction, which output you're spending. And then if you get one of these bad blackballs, that can actually reduce your ring size essentially. So, but on average, you might ask, how much is my privacy hurt? So on the left of this graphic by Rucknium, you can see at the top you have 16. Monero's default ring size is 16. That's I believe the minimum you can get. So everyone had 16 here. Monos didn't exist. So you can see on the left, you have the effective ring size if you only consider Monos, for example. So if you go to the black line here, sorry, like I said, it's going to be very graph heavy for the people listening, but I'm trying my best to translate the graph for you guys. But over time, you can see how different things affect the ring size. So if you started out Monos where it didn't exist, so they had no effect on the ring size. So you actually got the full privacy of the 16 outputs. And you can see down here the Coinbase outputs. Then if you go to the far right here, you can see actually Monerotopia went away. So the Coinbase effect or the Monerotopia output effect on your privacy has decreased. So you're almost back up to 16, but not exactly. And the biggest threat right now is going to be just the Coinbase outputs. But once again, the Coinbase outputs are much better than when they started. So I want to be clear about that. Just an overview about the history. And this is the worst case scenario. So on the last slide was the average. And the worst case scenario right now is going to be, I think it's the 5% deviation. So the worst case right now is going to be still Coinbase again. And the worst case scenario you can get is probably going to be somewhere around 12. So you're still pretty private, right? 12 out of 16 is not like the worst thing in the world, but we're still working to improve it, like Doug said.
We're still above the previous ring size.
Yeah,
11.
we're still above pre-ring size. So all of this, like Doug said, the summary for people at home looking for a quick TLDR, Monero is constantly growing and constantly improving its privacy features. And yes, we did have drama around Monerotopia, but we are still in a better place than when we started a couple months ago, actually. So the privacy of Monero has actually increased based upon these statistics.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, and a quick, how do we fix this permanently? Right there, I think as Doug has shown via his various interviews, there is no like correct fix, just a less wrong one. And Rucknium finished off his post with some options. Option A would be to exclude more nodes from decoy selection, but a lot of people are upset with that option because it sort of condones more nodes. They sort of brings them into the protocol and accepts them, and then like, oh, we're going to think about in the protocol, how we design our protocol. And a lot of people don't like that idea. And
yeah,
then,
Rucknium, I think also says that becomes kind of a cat and mouse game too, where then you could exclude it in one way, but then it can, reappear in another way where the exclusion, where it gets around the exclusion, right?
Yeah. Then you have another option is like prevent the transfer of Monerotopia, which leads back to other issues. And you can also alter TX extra rules. And the one that I think everyone agrees with, right? The most one is just increase the ring size, right? Because I think Surface is throwing around ring size, I think between 128 and 256, if I'm not mistaken. But so right, we're talking about 12 and 16, 256 is so much bigger, and that would be such a much better improvement. But once again, referencing Doug's talks, Doug recently, I believe, was that 2 weeks ago, had a great talk with JT Grassi, and also Luke was there also, I believe.
Yes.
Luke, and it was an amazing talk about the nuances towards the end. So once again, the experts are having opinions on these. Y'all should just go listen to them. It's a great video. I'm going to try to summarize it, but it covers the moral issue, I think, in very nuanced and great ways. And also, there are weekly dev meetings if you want to follow this issue more closely. And some weeks they talk about TX Extra. They have time. Sometimes they don't get around to it, but the notes are always there. So you can always go and listen to the devs talk about it in more detail.
All right, buddy. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. For anybody, noobs listening, I feel like people listen to this and then they're like, "Oh my God, Monero's broken." This has been something that's been known since the existence of Monero, that ring signatures are the weak component. But I think people need to realize too, ring signatures are but one component of Monero too, right? Like this is just obfuscating the who the signer is of the transaction. Confidential transactions, that. There's no issue there. Stealth addresses, there's no issue there. At ring signatures, effectively, there is no issue when you statistically look at it. It's just it's not ideal, right? And because privacy is a constant battle, we want to improve it, but we want to do it in a way where we don't overnight create an unusable currency, right? Where it becomes transaction fees become too high, the transactions become too heavy, right? We could go to a ring size of 1,000 tomorrow, but the blockchain would be way too large, too fast, right? It wouldn't be practical. So we have to wait for other efficiencies to come in before we can raise the ring size, and then hopefully eventually swap it out with full proofs, which I think we've spoken about that quite a bit on this show. But it just needs to be done in a responsible manner, and I'm sure that's going to be a big discussion at Monerotopia as well.
Yeah, definitely. I also been thinking about this thing. I don't know. Doing research, I know Fyro has this thing where they don't do full membership proof. They still have pretty large anonymity sets. So I don't know if it's like full proof. Like I don't know. Like, question: do you need 300,000 decoys to have a good transaction? I don't know. That's still in talks though. But I'm just thinking about those type of things.
Yeah, I mean they use Lelantis, which is basically a version of Seraphis, which is what Monero is going to be implementing. I think that's what you're referring to.
Oh yeah. I just don't know if it's like Fyro currently doesn't have full membership proofs. I don't know if you need them to have great privacy. Is a question. You probably need bigger. Yeah,
the Lelantis Spark. They just have a much larger ring size. They don't have.
Basically.
Yeah, which is what we'll get with Seraphis as well.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
And yeah, Co will be down there. I forget. Are you coming to Monerotopia?
Yes.
All right. Awesome.
I got my. I know there's a bunch of fiasco with the passport, so mine came early. Actually, I don't know what's going on. I just got lucky. But
yeah, there was another one too that was like waiting, and 4 weeks, which was nice.
Yeah.
People, fingers crossed, people are actually getting their passports, which is
pretty crazy,
fantastic. But yeah, we're hoping to have a panel. Where we'll talk about kind of the future development of Monero, and we're going to have Co down there. He's going to give his own talk, but we want to put him on that panel. Co is obviously he's developing Seraphis. We just spoke about Luke Parker. Luke is genius whiz kid that's building Scry, but also understands Monero tech really well and is a Monero dev. So we'd have him on that panel. Maybe we get Justin Ernhofer on there. Just kind of talk about the future of Monero and like this idea of developing full proofs into Monero, how that might come about and when we could expect to see that. So that should be cool.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good with the fresh margarita in your hand that you purchased with Monero. I mean, it's
you can't beat it. You can't beat it.
So go rest up, man. Go rest up because we're gonna need you.
I just say the same thing to y'all.
I tell him.
All right. See you.
All right. See you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right.
Let's move on to the guest. The Monerotopia guest segment is sponsored by Cake Wallet. Store, send, receive, and exchange your Monero and Bitcoin safely on iOS and Android too. Cake Wallet is open source, and you always control your own keys. Hello.
Right.
Hello. How's it? You're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, there you go.
Let me see.
No, you're good. Okay. You're good now.
There you go.
Okay. I thought it was on my side.
No.
Nothing much. Nothing much. Enjoying my Saturday. Beautiful spring weather.
Very nice. Very nice.
Where are you at these days? I mean, obviously you don't want to give away your exact location, but can you give us an idea? No.
I'm outside of Philadelphia, like on the border of rich suburbs and Amish country.
So you're on the East Coast. All right, because I know you're on the West Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, we were in California for a while, and we moved back a couple of years ago.
Very cool.
Just to be closer to family and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we got some beautiful weather over here right now.
Yeah, I know. Not gonna lie.
So how's it go, man? Excited that you'll be coming down to Monerotopia. Glad we were able to figure that out.
Yeah, I was coming either way. So, but I'm glad to be coming down now, like officially on behalf of Wownero for sure.
So what is going on with Wownero, man? What's the deal? I mean, we had people talking about Pirate Chain on here last week. You know, let's we might as well give you the stage here with Wownero. What's going on?
You know, like I'm probably like the most hands-off CEO of any shitcoin in the world, but we were having some syncing issues with the wallet where there was an issue with the Bulletproofs Plus transactions, and it was causing, like, after you use the wallet a couple of times, like transactions would start to fail. And so we got that fixed a couple of months ago, and then we decided to, like, other people, not me, decided to have a hard fork on April 1st. Which wasn't totally necessary, but it just was kind of like a way to force everyone to update their clients to be at like a modern Monero code base and kind of fix little bugs like that. And the major changes, I think, on the hard fork that happened April 1st, which was Wownero's 5th birthday, which is unbelievable. It's been around for 5 years now. Yeah, I know. Time flies, huh? When you're having fun. Yeah. So the major changes in the new release, which is Cunty Karen, we implemented view tags, which it helps you sync your wallet faster. And we made a like protocol level restriction on the transaction extra field to 1 kilobyte. So that's the strategy that Monero has been using to deal with these mordinals. But on Monero, it's not enforced at the protocol level. They're just like asking all of the mining pools and everything not to include transactions with more than 1 kilobyte in transaction extra. So that's kind of like codified in the protocol for Monero now. So that was April 1st.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I was going to say the other thing that happened after that is like all of the fucking mobile wallets broke for some reason with the hard fork. But luckily, since you invited me to come down and sell swag for WoW and XMR, that would have been like a major problem if there was no working mobile wallets. But yeah, I got some swag ordered, and I saw Diego Reyrar Stack Wallet on Twitter just this morning announce that they have the fix and the release is coming tomorrow. So we will have iOS and Android wallets that should be functional well before Monerotopia. So I was a little bit nervous about that, but thanks to CypherStack and Diego for supporting Wownero and getting that taken care of for sure.
Sweet. Yeah, we're trying to get what's the wallet called? Stack Wallet?
Stack Wallet, yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to get them at least added to Adoption Alley. We gotta follow through with the
cool.
Awesome, man. So yeah, I mean, so what do you still see like Wownero as kind of the test net for Monero? Is that how you?
Yeah, actually, Wowario, who's kind of like the lead developer, I guess, lead code copier, whatever you want to call it. Like, he kind of, manages most of the merges and stuff to GitHub at this point. He asked me to let everyone know, like, Wownero does, if you're a developer and you have ideas about improvements that could be made on a Monero-like blockchain, and you're willing to kind of do the work to implement it in the code base, then you're welcome to come try it out on Wownero, which is in some ways kind of like a testnet. Like, I mean, we will merge almost anything as long as it doesn't like break the network completely. So we've done stuff in the past, like with R. Brunner when he was doing the multi-sig stuff, he kind of was testing it out on WoW. And I think we merged like bulletproofs and random WoW and stuff ahead of Monero because to some extent, at least, I guess, we don't give a fuck. we're gonna do it live, right? Like it was like a live testnet, yeah.
Yeah, no, it puts it out into the wild right away. So do you see like maybe Seraphis getting implemented into WoW?
Maybe. I mean, like all of the work has to be done, right? Like we don't have or some of the like Jwinterm. Yeah, like I mean, so like that cryptography side of stuff is probably a little unreasonable to expect someone to like develop something on WoW. But yeah, I mean, like I would assume that, you know, on Monero, it'll be ready and it'll be on testnet for probably 3 to 6 months before Monero, because like Monero even hard forks all of the time compared to Bitcoin. But Monero seems to be getting a little more conservative with how frequent they hard fork. So I would expect Seraphis will be ready for Monero long before it gets activated via hard fork. And so I would assume probably, yeah, WoW will just merge that shit and turn it on ASAP, right, as soon as it's ready. I think we kind of got bit in the ass a little bit with that previously, where like I think maybe it was on Bullet Proofs, where like we had merged it and then it was still on testnet, and then Monero made like some changes last minute. So there was like a little bit of differences in the implementation, and that caused some headaches, like trying to keep up to date with the Monero code later. But yeah, I would guess like if it's ready, we'll probably activate it ahead of Monero.
Now you're like into NFTs too, right? Like, aren't you kind of? So I'm surprised.
Yeah, I have a company.
Want NFTs to blossom on WoW, right? But here you are, you're limiting the transaction.
I mean, that wasn't my it wasn't my decision. Like, I wasn't involved. There was no like, we didn't have like a board meeting and things. No, that was it seems like a very convoluted approach on Monero, and I mean, you looked at the graph in the last segment, like there was like a brief period of interest and then it went to absolute zero in terms of the number of NFTs being minted on Monero. So I don't think that there's really
it's because of the threat of the fact that, you know, Monero is going to do whatever it needs to do to make it really hard to use, you know, inscriptions on.
Yeah, and I don't know that limiting transaction extra or getting rid of transaction extra is the best path forward. Like I've heard Justin talk about it, I think on Monero Talk maybe, and like how they can, you know, shift from using transaction extra to using transaction outputs, which would be, I think, like even worse for the privacy implications of Monero's on NFT. So it's like, you know, like you kill the snake and it just splits into like it's. So I don't know but yeah, I mean, I love NFTs. I think that digital ownership is going to be very important in the future. Whether that is like your Fortnite skins or your, you know, digital art photography collection or whatever, like, you know, the world is becoming more and more digital, and you need a way to have real ownership of digital assets, which is like a solved problem for fungible or semi-fungible tokens like Bitcoin and Monero. But like for unique things, the solution is NFTs, in my opinion. And I don't know that like there's just not a place for that on the Monero network, or maybe Terry will launch someday and that will kind of be the place for it. I don't know. Like, but yeah, I have a company with Cardi Sewell, who is actually the guy who kind of came up with the idea for Wownero back in early 2018 with somebody else on IRC. And he's an artist, like he's a fine artist for a decade plus, and he did all of the branding and logos and everything before I even decided to launch the network. Like it was really just a meme before I stupidly decided to like actually launch a blockchain. But yeah, he used to live a couple hours away from me in California, and we would hang out a lot. And he's super into NFTs. And we started a company in early 2021, all on Ethereum. But yeah, so it's like really like the two founders of Wownero have gone on to NFTs on Ethereum.
On NFT.
Yeah.
What company? What do you guys do? Like, what is the?
So it started out as this company. It's called Patron, Patrn, and there's a website, patrn.me, where the idea was to be able to do crowdfunding for NFTs. So like an artist could post their work and set a goal in ETH of like 0.1 ETH maybe, and then if there was like patrons who liked the work, you like it by sending some ETH. So like if 5 people sent 0.02 and it reached the artist goal, then it would mint 5 copies of the NFT and send them to everyone who liked it. Or if somebody really loved it, they could just send 0.1 and then there would be a unique NFT that got minted to that person. And we got a MVP up. And actually the other person at the company is Lance is a menace. LZA Menace, who's like, he's a contributor to Monero and Wownero as well. But like it kind of, we had Cardi got the front end done, and then he was like waiting for Lance to finish the back end, and he was like, I'm just gonna make a bunch of NFTs and we sold some originally, but then we just started giving them away for free via the company, and then you get money on the royalties for each resale. So we made some money in 2021 with this brand called Art 101, giving away a bunch of NFTs, and then people would trade them and we get some money from that. And so we have kind of a lot of collections. It's kind of a brand on its own called Art 101 that you can check out, art101.io. And we haven't been pushing it much at all for at least the last 4 or 5 months. Like Cardi works at OpenSea and Lance is super busy with other stuff. So it's kind of in stasis right now, but it's still around. We're going to get we have ideas about how to move forwards with it. So
nice.
We will see what the future brings. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You're obviously a very creative guy, and you like working on exciting, creative things. So it's cool to see. Is there anything else you kind of have boiling up in your mind, things that you want to work on in the crypto space?
I guess like yes. Yeah, I do for sure. I have like a kind of wallet project I've been working on. It's like a little bit on the back burner for sure now, but I'm still interested in it. And then I've been, spending a ton of time for the last 7 or 8 months really on Reddit, because I'm also a moderator on the big Our Cryptocurrency subreddit. And in August of last year, the moons, there's like the community token for the subreddit went to like mainnet on Arbitrum Nova, which is like a layer 2 on Ethereum. And it's just been a ton of stuff going on there. And we've kind of been trying to push the envelope a little bit on what people can do with these moons so that you can like buy the banner now. So we like rent out the banner. It's a subreddit. We have over 6 million subscribers, and we probably get a few 100,000 unique visitors every day. And so we don't like take the money. You have to burn the moons in order to rent the banner, and then you get to keep it up there. And it's been really cool. We had local Monero and
yes, that's when we first learned
Agora Desk. They've been doing a lot of rentals, and I actually helped them out. Like I swapped some moons for XMR with them.
Can we do this
really cool.
For the Monerotopia conference? That would be huge.
Yeah, you can. It's not even like, it's about $500 a day or something. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll reach out to you. It'd be awesome.
Like I think for the number of eyeballs that you get, it's a really good value. And it's open. Awesome. Yeah, like as long as you're not a total fucking scam. If you're a little bit scammy, even that's probably okay. But like, as long as you're not a total scam, yeah, you should be able to get on there. I think it's rented for like a month by like Nexo, but at least maybe we could get it. I don't know. We'll see. I'll talk to you about it later.
Yeah,
but
so you can slip
it's really cool to help out local Monero.
We pulled some strings there.
Yeah, we'll see. And then, so it's been cool to help them and see them up top of the subreddit. And I think Majestic Bank was up there. And then I bought Wownero was up there on April 1st for the birthday. I got in right before.
Is in the scammer category though. Is it Majestic Bank in the scammer category, or have they?
I told you, like, maybe, like, as long as you're not a total.
We're in the
I'm
total.
not going to comment. Yeah.
Keep us over there.
Yeah. Oh, that was, yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's a cool, I'm going to just move on from that. But it's really, yeah, it's cool to kind of see that experiment with Reddit kind of become more economically, kind of like have some real like economic weight for the token holders. Like, you know, the people who use the subreddit get moons just for participating, and then they get to like vote on who gets to come do AMAs using their moons now, and then like whoever wants to rent the banner, they have to go buy up moons and burn them. So it's a really cool experiment that I've been having fun with. And really, like, I think Reddit is doing a lot to onboard, like, you know, regular people, for lack of a better word, to cryptocurrency, and especially NFTs. Like, I think that their avatar program is probably like the biggest avenue for people to kind of hold and really like kind of use NFTs out of anything in the world that's happened in the last couple of years.
Sweet.
So I like working with Reddit. Yeah, I think that's the other thing. I love, you know, all kinds of cryptocurrency stuff, but yeah, Reddit's been a major part of my life for the last 6 months for sure.
Very cool. Yeah, I didn't realize that you were behind that. Very cool. Cool, man. Should we jump to news and then?
Yeah, and then Spaces. Yeah. Oh, we have a pre-recorded video for news, so it should be pretty quick.
Okay. Yeah, if you could stick around.
Yeah.
Not, yep.
Just stick around.
I gotta run. I'm sorry.
Thank
you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I will definitely see you in Mexico in a few weeks with some swag, and we'll have working Wownero wallets. Yeah, and I'm super excited to party with you guys.
Oh yeah. Totally.
What kind of swag you bringing down? You bringing out like t-shirt type stuff, or?
Mostly, I've got mostly stickers, and then I got one other, like, some pins. Because, like, I don't even think I'm bringing a carry-on, so it's like I can't bring t-shirts.
Where you'll be selling?
Yeah, I'm just gonna wear like 30 t-shirts on the airplane, take them off when I get there.
Really
Will have more value. They were previously worn by the WoW CEO.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
All right, brother.
All right.
Always great
you.
talking to you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for having me.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
man.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheerios. Adios. Yeah. All righty. I guess let's move on to the news segment. The Monerotopia Weekly News segment is sponsored by iVPN. Use a VPN to help prevent your online activity from becoming a permanent record. iVPN encrypts your data and DNS requests so your ISP or mobile network provider cannot monitor or log your online activity. Purchase an iVPN service today anonymously with Monero. Awesome.
All right. I didn't even ask John.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, or good night if it's night for you. Welcome to the second attempt of trying to record a news section, because in the first one I didn't add the camera and I was just talking to you guys with just the share screen. So now we have the camera as well. Today, a lot of CBDC related news. So let's get into it. The first thing that I want to mention is a tweet from Libertarian Party. Banning TikTok will do nothing to preserve privacy rights, rejecting the Restrict Act, repealing all remaining provisions of the Patriot Act, and abolishing the NSA will. And the second one, your property and privacy depend on the total rejection of all CBDC schemes, which is absolutely true, and everybody knows it, or at least people watching this show know this. Yeah, but banning TikTok is not going to preserve your privacy rights, and they don't even care about your privacy rights. But yeah, rejecting the Restrict Act is going to, and everything else. Then let's talk about mordinals from Rucknium. Rucknium is actually going to be at Monerotopia in May. So if you want to talk to him in person, make sure that you purchase your tickets and you come and you come to Monerotopia. The empirical research that he conducted basically concluded that mordinals can reduce Monero user privacy when their transaction outputs are included in normal transaction ring signatures as decoys. Just before mordinal minting spiked, the peer-to-peer pool decentralized mining protocol upgraded to make their payouts more efficient, diminishing the net effect of mordinals. Average effective ring size fell to 12.5 at its lowest point. A nominal ring size is 16. So basically, mordinals, can reduce Monero user privacy. If you want more information about this study, you can of course go in the description and click on this link and read the article for yourself. You can come to Monerotopia and talk to Rucknium, or I think DGoon is actually going to talk about this today. So make sure that you check out his video. The next thing that I want to mention is Intercambio, which is a new privacy-first, no JavaScript, no KYC exchange aggregator. Essentially, you prioritize the KYC grade and thus get the best privacy for your trade. Although JavaScript is not required, if you have it enabled, you'll be able to install the Intercambio app within the browser of any device. Let's actually click on the exchange link. That's how it looks like. I like the logo. I think it looks cool. Yeah, so this is really good stuff, and make sure to check it out and use it, test it, and see how you like it. Now let's discuss Monerorun that will take place on the 18th of April. Today's April 15th. Now, so basically what the Monerorun is, in case you didn't know, people have Monero on exchanges, and on this day, everybody's going to take their Monero from exchanges in the same time. Now, should you wait until the 18th if you have Monero on exchanges? Maybe not. I would do it right now. I wouldn't hold any Monero on exchanges. I don't even own any Monero on exchanges, so I can't even participate in this. And maybe I don't even own any Monero, or maybe I do. You'll never know. But yeah, if you want to wait until the 18th, that's fine. Do it on the 18th for everybody. But definitely do not have any Monero on centralized exchanges, and practice self-custody of your crypto, of your Monero. Then we have 3 more articles pertaining to CBDCs. So the IMF wants to publish a CBDC handbook in response to increasing demand for guidance. Of course, every country wants to participate in CBDCs. They all want it. It's the future. So it was normal that at some point a larger organization was going to step in and create a guidance, a handbook, so that is going to fasten the process. They've been already working with 30 countries, and ever since, over 40 more countries have contacted so far. We believe CBDC capacity development is essentially to avoid a digital divide. The handbook, as they mentioned, I'm not sure if I can find it, it's not going to be prescriptive. Yeah, it says over here. It's going to be descriptive. So it's going to be a guidance. It's not going to prescribe you what to do necessarily, but it's just going to give you the information necessary for you to develop your own CBDC for your own country. So this was, of course, going to happen, and it's going to help countries develop their CBDCs, and they can tailor it to their specific needs. The Swedish Riksbank report is interesting because Sweden they're already in the 3rd phase of its CBDC research. The Nordic countries have been in favor of digital payments since COVID, and I think even before 2016, or I'm not entirely sure, but for a long time. But the interesting thing about this article specifically is that so they were able to purchase a car, but while this was a positive sign for the potential of the currency, it raised privacy questions due to the extra information that was necessary to complete the complicated transaction. If conditions are placed on money, for example, that it can only be used for certain purchases or on certain occasions, it risks becoming something more like a gift card and thus no longer like money, right? So this was one concern. And then, of course, they always mention when something goes wrong a little bit. They want to emphasize that no decision on the issuance of a CBDC has been made. Its discussion had a certain sense of urgency. So every single time, oh, okay, this failed. We're still not sure about CBDC. Of course, they're going to have CBDC. There's going to be some form of digital currency in the future. But they also mentioned that when cash takes a backseat in favor of digital services from private sectors, the Riksbank's direct role on the payment market is reduced. The Riksbank may thus find it more difficult to fulfill its task of promoting a safe and efficient payment system accessible to all groups in society. So, there's going to be problems with CBDCs, but eventually they are going to come to fruition. My question is that what are you going to do with people that don't have cell phones? A lot of people don't have cell phones, or a lot of people don't even have good cell phones. So are they going to make government phones that they can produce for cheap so that people can use CBDCs? That's going to be interesting. So I think for sure we're going to have CBDC and cash for a long time until we figure out the situation, because you can't just, ignore the people that don't have phones. You can't do that. So it's going to be interesting. Now, the last thing that I want to mention is Ripple and Montenegro. There are a few cryptocurrencies that help countries develop their own CBDCs. Ripple is one of them. Algorand is one of them. They're helping a couple of countries. But yeah, so Montenegro has been using the euro since 2002, even though they're not in the eurozone. And they teased that in January, which is, it's not that far away, they could create a national digital currency, which is crazy. So Montenegro is going to have its own CBDCs soon. I've been to Montenegro actually, and they're developing quite well. So this is going to be it's going to be interesting to see. And the last thing that I want to mention really quick, guys, purchase your tickets for Monerotopia 2023. Every week we're adding new speakers. For example, let's see. Okay, see, the last person that I knew was Susie Dawson. Now we added Sarang, and he was there last year. John Murphy from Wownero, Paul Pui from Edge. We have Pirate Chain from Privacy Tech. We have Pirate Chain. Sorry, I got distracted a little bit. Then we have Tuxedo as a workshop professors that we had just added. Rhino, we have Pacha Bazaars and Monero Marketplace, media partners. We just added Asterion, DJs. So we have everything. Now, if you want to come and you want a discount, where is it? Okay, you click here. You click add to cart. Then you view cart. If you write Tony, and you apply the coupon, you're gonna get again 21%. It's still there, guys. So make sure that you use the discount. This was the news section. Have a good weekend. Have a good week, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Tony, just type in Tony.
I know, type in Tony.
All right.
All right, that was awesome as usual.
That was good.
I guess, well, before we move on to that, I just wanted to quickly say there were two things. People, we need help for the conference. If you guys are interested in helping us out, volunteering, please reach out. Email us at monerotopia@protonmail.com. We need help for the workshops. We need help just throughout the conference. We need help for the gratuitous stand. Neil needs some help with the coffee stand that we're going to be running during the conference. You'll get a free general admission ticket. Please reach out. I just wanted to just quickly say that. And then also in addition to that workshop, if you're interested in not helping them, but reach out, interested in joining the advanced workshop, email Chill.
That's where we're going to show people how to run a full node, multiple different ways of doing that, options. Actually, what's that company now that's participating in that? No, what's their name?
App Node or something. So app.
Dap Node. Dap Node will be there. They'll be participating in that as well, teaching people how to use Dap Node, which is kind of like an at-home node that you can buy that makes it super easy to get nodes up and running, which I guess we're working on something quite similar to that actually with others in the Monero community. It's been a project we've been working on for a while. but it's coming to fruition. But that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, anybody that wants to participate in the
advanced workshop, email chill@cbrimer@tutanota.com. It's on the website. Just to reserve your spot because there are limited spots. It's not a very large room.
And volunteers, right?
Yeah, definitely volunteers. Monerotopia, protonmail.com.
Free ticket if you want to volunteer, obviously. And you'll be helping us out doing various things.
Yeah,
right?
we need the help. So please reach out. And yeah, that's really it. I mean, you want to move on to the spaces or?
Yeah, let's do viewers on stage. Let's see if anybody jumps up. Either, should we see people jump up on YouTube?
I don't know. We haven't done that.
StreamYard?
Yeah, we could do that. Anyone?
Are there people in StreamYard that want to come up?
I don't know. I guess we'll do that right now. Let me put the link.
Yeah, throw the link in there. Sometimes we got like almost 20 people on StreamYard.
And anyone interested in jumping on, just saying hello
in the spaces. StreamYard one's nice because we actually get to see the people.
Get to see a lot of people don't use their camera.
Yeah.
But if you guys are interested, please join. If not, then we'll move on to the spaces.
let's run the viewers on stage segment.
Ooh,
let's get people excited about it. That's the problem. They gotta get amped.
All right, calm down. It's the viewers on stage segment. It's that time where we invite you, the viewers, up on stage to comment on anything you've heard so far today, ask the guest a question, or maybe talk about one of the news topics. Come on down. Come on down,
guys. Don't be shy.
I think we scared everyone. That's what happened.
We'll usually have our guest around, but John had to run. I don't blame him. It's a beautiful day here on the East Coast. Anybody on the StreamYard want to jump up? Now's the time. Just hit go on that StreamYard link. So you just posted it in the chat. You'll see it. Anybody can jump up. Talk about whatever you want.
I don't think they want to jump up.
Monero related. Okay. Anybody in the spaces want to talk?
You want to give a thumbs up?
Give a thumbs up in the spaces.
Then we'll transition. If not, we'll just end the show, guys.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go enjoy this beautiful day. Go
thumbs up.
Hang out with my daughter.
Let's give a thumbs up.
Family time. Not that you guys aren't family. All right. Yeah, I'm not seeing too much action there.
I think everyone's ready to go.
We'll close it out there. Great show as always.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate it. And again, buy your tickets if you haven't yet, virtual or in person.
Yeah, and then we'll probably doing something with Monero's birthday this week and the Monerorun, which is the 18th, which is Tuesday. Maybe it'll be our Monero Talk episode for the week. Make it like a birthday live show special thing. We'll figure something out, I'm sure.
I'm sure we will.
Sure.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you guys for joining us, and we're going to close out.
Adios.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you for joining us on this week's Monerotopia episode. We stream live shows every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can find and subscribe to our show on YouTube and Odyssey, or listen to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or join us in the Monerotopia Telegram group. See you all next week.